However, as you travel to other cities and states, you will find yourself driving on the open road. When good drivers can travel these roads in safety. Highways place special demands on the driver for two reasons. The first is speed. On the open stretches of most of these roads, maximum legal speeds are permitted. On other stretches, lower limits are posted because experience has shown that too many accidents occur above these limits. The second special feature of highways is interference along the right-of-way. Unlike superhighways or expressways, these roads have cross traffic. There are stop signs and signal lights. There are passenger cars and trucks, motorcycles and bicycles, horse-drawn vehicles, and farm tractors. There are tame animals, wild animals, and pedestrians. These are important characteristics of highway driving. Now, let's ask and answer some questions, beginning with, is your car ready for the road? Before starting on any trip beyond the city limits, it's a good idea to be sure that your car is in condition to make the trip. If there is anything wrong with the engine, exhaust system, transmission, or brake system, you'll be better off to have your car repaired. Otherwise, you may be caught out on the lonely road, miles away from assistance. Assuming that your car is in good general condition, you will still want to check fuel, windows, water, oil, battery, lights and signals, all 5 tires, tools and jack. On any trip into unfamiliar territory, it's a smart thing to carry a map, some telephone money, and if night driving is involved, live batteries. In addition to being sure you're ready for the road, consider the weather and ask, is the road ready for me? Another question that will concern you from one end of the trip to the other is this. How's my speed? Most states have definite posted speed limits for the highways. These, of course, are only permissive and do not apply during adverse weather or heavy traffic conditions. In good weather, you may soon find yourself driving at the maximum speed permitted by law. At first, it may seem quite fast. This is important. If it feels too fast, it is too fast, and you should slow down to a speed that you can comfortably handle. On the other hand, after driving the maximum speed for a while, it may actually seem slow. You will feel capable of driving safely at even faster speeds. And this feeling will be reinforced as violators whiz by. Before you yield to the temptation, however, consider this. Over a distance of 50 miles, if you drive 10 miles above the speed limit, you'll be lucky to gain as much as 2 minutes. On the other hand, while you are gaining experience, you don't want to drive too slowly either, because this can be dangerous. Try to match your speed with the pace of the traffic. The time to drive at slower speeds is when your visibility has been reduced by darkness or adverse weather, or when the condition of the road surface reduces the distance in which you can stop. Our next question is, what about pedestrians? They should wear something white at night or carry a flashlight or handkerchief. But all too often, they don't. So it's up to you to watch the road ahead and the road shoulder for pedestrians, especially for children. They are sometimes harder to see, and their actions are not predictable. Every year, motorists get involved in serious collisions in a last-second effort to avoid hitting pedestrians. By spotting them well in advance, you can plan to give them extra clearance and be prepared to slow down or stop. You may never have thought of the next question, but it's a good one. Can you keep your car on the road? In many serious accidents, the driver gets into trouble without involving another vehicle. How are accidents like this caused? Inattention, sometimes complicated by excessive speed, is almost always a factor. A curve lies ahead. A sign cautions the driver, but he fails to pay attention. His car hits the curve, and he suddenly finds himself unable to handle the turn without a skid. If you should happen to drive onto the shoulder, don't be too hasty about getting back to the road surface. Most road shoulders are drivable. Just hold your car straight until it slows down. This is true even with a flat tire. Then, with the car under control at slow speed, return it to the pavement. If you find yourself driving off the pavement unintentionally, you'll know there's something wrong with your driving. You may be going too fast and should slow down. Or you're not paying attention to your driving. Or you're fatigued or sleepy and should stop driving. As we have seen, control of your car at highway speeds is vitally important. Because this is true, always keep your car centered in its lane. Always approach curves and hills with close attention. Reduce speed at any time the condition of the road affects your control of the car. Accident records show that many drivers do not slow down enough for wet roads. Now, here are some answers to the question, how do I guard against collisions? We have seen how a great many serious highway accidents occur because the driver loses control of his car. Even more are caused by collisions, mostly with other vehicles, but also with pedestrians, trains, animals, and roadside objects. Collisions result from improper use of lanes, such as passing where it's prohibited. Changing lanes without looking or signaling. to maintain good visibility and a safe space cushion between the vehicle ahead and the one behind. You avoid collisions by giving full-time attention to your driving and taking precautions. You observe all no passing signs and road markings. And even in the absence of signs, you never pass on hills or on blind curves, bridges, intersections, or at rail crossings. It's simply a matter of being patient and waiting for a chance to pass when you can see it is safe. You pick a moment when the road ahead is clear for a good long distance. You check to the rear in both lanes to be sure that no one is overtaking you at close range. You signal when necessary, move into the left lane, and go on through. When you see both of his headlights in your mirror, you move back into the right lane. A great deal depends upon your ability to estimate the speed and distance of oncoming cars. Don't stare at them. You can't afford to rivet your attention on anything. Watch the road ahead and make all other observations with intermittent glances. On many curves, you have an excellent chance to look ahead, study oncoming traffic, judge its speed and distance. Later, as you enter a passing zone, this information can be useful. When passing, overtake the other car so that you're past him in a few seconds. Be on the alert for any drifting on the part of the other car and for any changes in the situation ahead and behind. Never hesitate to make a safe retreat from a passing maneuver if anything occurs up front that will reduce your margin of safety. Drop back and wait for a better time. Similarly, never attempt to pass a car if you find that you will have to complete the maneuver in a no-passing zone. Watch out for other drivers who may misjudge speed and distance when passing. Slow down if necessary to increase the margin of safety. Don't wait too long, like this driver. That cloud of dust to the right is a clue. It warns of a car approaching from a side road. Good highway drivers avoid emergencies by looking far ahead, constantly interpreting the scene on the road, the shoulders, and all approaches. Your eyes should also be in constant motion, scanning the sides and rear so that no situation can take you by surprise. From time to time, you may drive on a 3-lane highway. The center lane is used as a passing lane for cars in both directions. When you move into the passing lane, be very sure that no nearby car from the opposite direction is also using it. You don't want to be in the middle of a 3 or 4 car collision. Good drivers treat a 3-lane road like a 2-lane road when it comes to passing. They time their moves to avoid being the middleman in a dangerous squeeze like this. It is also a practical idea during the daytime to turn on your headlights while in the center lane if 2 or more cars are approaching in the distance. One of the most risky things a driver can do on the open highway is to follow another car too closely or permit another car to follow him too closely. This is especially hazardous on a 2-lane road. If the first car suddenly stops, there will be a 3-car collision. A good rule for spacing is this. For each 10 miles per hour of speed, allow at least one car length between you and the car ahead. At 50 miles an hour, therefore, you need a cushion of more than 5 car lengths. And you need the same cushion to the rear. If another car persists in following you too closely, increase your speed to widen the distance if you're driving below the speed limit. If he still hangs on, pick a safe time and place to stop so that he is forced to pass by. You'll lose a little time, but it's worth it. You can enjoy the use of the highways in safety for years to come by thoroughly checking the condition of the car so that you know it is roadworthy. Never exceeding posted speed limits, and always setting lower limits of your own when driving conditions reduce visibility or shorten your safe stopping distance. Scanning the road shoulders for signs of pedestrians and bike riders. Keeping your car under control and on the road by giving full-time attention to where you are driving and how you are driving. Steering clear of collision situations by maintaining a space cushion to the front and rear. And passing only when you know it's safe.